Welcome into another edition of Fourth Quarter Clutch. Today we're going to be discussing hot topics, and there are really, really big topics today. Some are bigger than others. And the first one that we're going to discuss is the latest update in the Jerry Sandusky sex abuse scandal. And this time it's not about Jerry Sandusky. It's about what Penn State did. And Penn State did a very, very noble thing without going to court. They have reportedly, according to the Associated Press, made deals with 26 of the victims. 23 have been signed, and 3 are agreements in principle for $59.7 million. Brian, what are your thoughts on this unbelievable agreement between Penn State and the Jerry Sandusky victims?
Basically, I see Penn State as trying to remedy a situation to the best of their ability, because in a case like this, there really is it's very little that you can do to remedy such a terrible thing that happened and that was done to these people. So for me, what I'm thinking is they are doing their very best to make sure that there's some compensation for what happened to these families, and I think they're doing a really good job as far as like to the best of their ability what they can do. Obviously, in the end, what happened to these victims, to these families, to these students, there's really not a whole ton that you can really do to fully account for what happened to them, but they're definitely doing it to the best of their abilities, and that is respectable, absolutely.
And in case people forgot, Jerry Sandusky is currently in prison, and he is going to serve at least 30 years there, and most likely
hmm
he will be in there for the rest of his life.
He'll be there for a while, that's for sure. Absolutely, yeah.
45 criminal counts is just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. What transpired and what that investigation like pulled up and everything. But we'll have to see what happens. But it definitely looks like he will be there for a long, long time. And I mean, they're cracking down on this type of stuff because it really shouldn't be present on in the NCAA. Really, the NCAA is basically a mess right now, and they're trying to clean it up at this point by coming down really hard on a lot of serious situations and on a lot of really bad places. But the problem is that actually, in the midst of them coming down hard on people, they are actually bringing people in and punishing people that really have very little to do with the actual situations. So there's a little bit of collateral damage that's happening in the process of this cracking down, where there's some unjustified sanctions that have been put placed on different people that have had little or nothing to do with some of the scandals or activities that have happened. So there's a little bit of collateral damage that we're seeing, but we'll see. I don't see them really cleaning it up a whole ton. Definitely not enough at this point.
In addition to Penn State reaching agreements with 26 of the victims, there are 6 other claims, and according to the Associated Press, the school is saying some of them doesn't have merit, but they might produce settlements. So if there are 6 more, potentially this could be 70, $80 million that Penn State will give the victims by the end of the Jerry Sandusky settlement agreements.
Yep.
It's just a remarkable number, and this could have been a really, really muddy situation. It could have went to court. It could have been very, very emotional, but at least Penn State is doing the right thing by settling with them, as far as we know, outside of court.
Yeah, that's definitely the right thing to do is to take care of this out of court, because there really doesn't need to be a lot of extra push for this. They don't really need to make this as public as it already has been, and I'm sure the families are ready to move on from these situations as well and not have it be as public because it has been over the entire time. I'm sure that they prefer to keep it outside of the courts at this point.
Oh, absolutely. And in other news, and this is arguably the biggest news of all, the World Series and Adam Wainwright. Brian, what are your thoughts on this game and this World Series in general?
This is a solid. First of all, about the World Series in general, this is an interesting World Series. It's going back and forth. I mean, both teams have been making mistakes. I've been seeing a lot of errors. That's actually something that I am really concerned about. And it's like you got the top two teams and they're making really costly mistakes. That's the only thing that I really don't like about it so far. But the pitching has been great. Besides a little bit of bullpen here and there, some of the bullpen has been a little bit rough. But for the most part, the pitching has been solid. The hitting has been quality. They've been getting some quality singles. There's been stealing that's been great. Base running has been pretty solid, except for one deal from Matt Holliday there. But when it comes down to Game 5, for Game 5 here, I'm really excited to see this game because Adam Wainwright had a very bad outing in Game 1, and I'm really interested to see how he comes back and plays at home because especially during the regular season, his road record was actually slightly better than his home record. So for me, I want to see how he comes out, pitches, and this is a great matchup. I mean, we're back to. I mean, it's almost 0-0 now, because it's tied at 2-2. So this game right here could be the deciding factor as to who wins the World Series. But the big thing is, it's definitely going back to Boston. It's definitely going back to Boston. So it's gonna be interesting to see. I think this is a big time game as to who gets to that, needing just one more win.
And also, just so you know, this is what happened Game 1. Adam Wainwright, 5 innings, 7 base runners allowed, 3 earned runs. He did allow
Yep.
5 runs, but 2 were because of errors, and 4 strikeouts. He received the loss in that game. John
Yep.
Lesser was fantastic. 7 and 2/3 innings, only 6 base
Domination.
runners got on base, and 8 strikeouts
Yeah. So this is gonna be an
in the win.
interesting game. Interesting matchup.
And also, here's a very, very interesting statistic according to ESPN. With the series tied 2-2, according to Elias, which is the sports bureau that comes up with all these different statistics, teams to win Game 5 in a best-of-7 World Series tied 2-2 have won 26 of the last 40 World Series.
Wow. Wow. That's interesting. Mm. We're gonna have to see what happens tonight.
Honestly, I think this is one of the very few World Series where either team could win, and I could see the other team easily winning the next two.
Yeah, either team could win in this one. It's they're neck and neck. They really are neck and neck, and both teams are very very good teams. Um, I mean, the Red Sox have some really great starting pitching. The Cardinals have some solid bullpen with Trevor Rosenthal, great closer. So this is gonna be interesting. This is gonna be really really interesting. We're just gonna have to see if the Cardinals bullpen can hold in this next game. We're looking at another really tight game.
I'm still holding true to my prediction. The Red Sox winning the next 2 games. They win in 6, and I could project right now. I don't. This could honestly change. David Ortiz will win World Series MVP. Here is the
Oh
stats right
yeah,
now. It's just
without a
unbelievable.
doubt.
His statistics are just it. I don't know if it's like one of the. It's not the greatest World Series performance, obviously, but it has to be like top 10 for what he's done through 4 games.
Well,
Eight
and he
for
had a
ele-
grand slam robbed. He got robbed
exactly.
from a grand slam too. So that's without the grand slam.
So it should be nine hits and 12 at bats, but he did get robbed in Game 1 of a grand slam remarkable catch by Carlos Beltran.
Mm-hmm.
He has 8 hits and 11 at bats, 5 runs, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, 4 walks to surprisingly 0 strikeouts, and a video game like 727 batting average.
Insane. Absolutely insane.
Do you have any second thoughts about the prediction you did earlier on?
Oh no, no, not at all, not at all. I got Cardinals in 7, and I'm holding solid to that because they this is a neck and neck World Series, and I think it's going to come down to 7 games. And in those situations, I think guys like Matt Holliday and Carlos Beltran and Trevor Rosenthal are going to be. I think Wainwright gets it done tonight, and I think they get the win tonight. But then I think that Boston ties it up in Game 6, and I think it goes to Game 7. And it's another close game, but the Cardinals come out on top.
If Wainwright loses tonight and Waka wins on Wednesday night, do you trust Joe Kelly winning it in Game 7? That's the projected starter.
It's gonna be that's a serious thing there, and I think Joe Kelly is an okay deal there, but I think Cardinals offense is going to be okay. I think that's really what's going to do it for them, and I think the bullpen's going to come through in that last game for them.
And also, it'll be interesting to see how tonight's game ends. Game 4 ended with a pickoff at third. Actually, an obstruction call at third base. Last night's game ended on Colton Wong getting picked off at first base. So it'll be interesting to see if it's a fielding play that ends the game tonight.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting. Yeah, we could see another walk-off or something. I mean, you just never know with this World Series.
This will probably go down as one of the 10 greatest World Series ever.
I could see that, absolutely. Which is why I'm saying it goes to Game 7.
All the games have been competitive except for Game 1.
Yep. And that was just because of a couple of bad errors that happened in the first couple innings.
And also, this is a really, really good World Series for baseball. Two teams in two very good markets playing against each other.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have the Nelson ratings yet, but they are probably really, really high ratings for people that have tuned in this World Series. Whether it's people rooting for Boston or against Boston, which is probably most of the people that are tuning in, or people tuning in that are rooting for St. Louis or against St. Louis.
Yep. This is a big time game. World Series. I think there's a lot of people watching this one, and St. Louis is a great market for baseball. But so is Boston. I mean, Boston is a huge market there. So I see both teams drawing a pretty good crowd. A little bit more on the Boston end, of course, but the fact that you got two big time teams that have been good for the last 5 years says a lot about these two teams and about their following. And I mean, that says that there's going to be a lot of good ratings for the World Series this year.
And also, two quick things. AL teams are 4-12 on the road in their last 6 World Series. Although the Red Sox have won 5 of their last 6 road World Series games. So it's a little bit of anything can happen in terms of history. They are 14-4 all time in postseason Game 5s. They have won their last 4. With the St. Louis Cardinals, they have won 7 of their last 9 home games, and they haven't lost back-to-back home World Series games since 2004.
Yeah, it's going to be tight. One of us is going to be wrong, though, man. One of us is going to be wrong. We'll see.
Isn't that the way it's supposed to be?
Yes.
And also, potential milestone alert for tonight. Yadier Molina, the St. Louis Cardinals catcher, has 12 career RBIs in the World Series. With 2 RBIs, he will pass Lou Brock's 13 career RBIs for the most RBIs in franchise history in a World Series play.
That's crazy.
And Carlos Beltran has probably at least 1 or 2 more postseasons before he can say that he has the most postseason RBIs in NL history play. But with 8 more RBIs in this World Series, he can place his name as second most on the list behind Albert Pujols' 52 RBIs, which is the NL record.
Wow, that's just nuts.
And also for all the people that are watching, we will be doing live blogging tonight and for Game 6, and if there is a necessary Game 7, the necessary Game 7 will be on Halloween night. And if you want, do your trick-or-treating or do whatever you need to do early on so you can watch the Game 7 if it is necessary. And we will be doing a video recording later on in the week for NFL Week 9 predictions, as the Kansas City Chiefs attempts to try and maintain their undefeated record in another week, and if they can potentially be the first team since the 1972 Miami Dolphins to finish regular season and postseason undefeated. It's going to be an interesting week, Brian. Very interesting.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
With me, as always, is Brian Zeigler. Thank you for tuning in.